Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gun Podcast. My name is Nathan Irvine. I'm your host and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Paul Cropper and a returning member of the Fergie's Gun crew. He's back. It's Ethan. How you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm good. How you guys doing?
Very good. Very good. It's been a long time. Been a very long time. But we're united again to talk about this.
Lifted towards the back post. It's Harry Maguire that's going to meet it. Nods it back across goal. Casemiro! Ninth goal of the Premier League season. Casemiro proving to be inevitable in the penalty area. Schade dispossessed. Bruno Fernandes, maybe a break on here for Manchester United. Has Mbeumo and Šeško with him. Mbeumo up to the edge of the area. Bruno Fernandes gives it to Šeško. Šeško fires home! And Benjamin Šeško into double figures for the Premier League season.
Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, and as Paul said off air about 2 minutes ago, Champions League qualification secured. Is that right, Paul?
We are Champions League, so we are Champions League. Yeah. Well, we'll be in it. Whether we get knocked out straight away, we'll find out next season, won't we?
we still need 2 points, though, right? We still need 2 points to guarantee that we're going to be in it.
I think Brighton have to win every single one of their games, don't they? For us not to get it, and we have to not win one of ours. I think that's right. That's what I was just.
So we lose all of ours. Brighton win all of theirs, then they go through, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, it could happen. Imagine that
Celebrate.
monumental slide.
Call us up. Cantona, call us up, mate. Told you, celebrating.
So weirdly enough, there was a guy in the pub out here in Dubai the other day, just a random pub that we went into, and he was wearing that shirt, that United shirt from back in the, what's that, 93, 94?
93, yeah, that's where I go. Yeah.
Something like that.
He's got style, this man, then, hasn't he? He should have got style. Just a quick mention, what's the shirt you've got on there?
This is I think it was for the Champions League, mate.
Yeah,
grey
I was like Chevrolet.
You've done this before. You've asked about this before because there's like an imprint of the Holy Trinity on the bottom of it. It was like the design that they did for it. I think they put it out to the fans to do it. Anyway, enough shirt chat. No one cares about that. All we care about is Manchester United winning another game of football and inching closer to Champions League qualification. Not guaranteed just yet. Here's an interesting stat for you. Manchester United, and I heard this from the Gary Neville podcast, Manchester United hadn't won on a Monday night for 3 years. 3 whole years. That last win coming against Wolves on the opening day of the season, 2023-2024. Unreal. But how did you rate that performance last night, Ethan? Start with you, because it's been a long time since we've heard from you.
First of all, Ruben Amorim, I said this before, I said it again, Ruben Amorim needs to stand trial. He needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail. What is he not seeing in Kobe Mainoo? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Let me start off with a little it's a little stat. Casemiro has more goals this season than Saka, Salah, Isak, and Gakpo. That is amazing. That's amazing.
He does.
But ultimately,
you can add Jared Bowen, Florian Wirtz, Cole Palmer as well to that list.
Yeah. It's unreal. It's unreal. I don't know how we're gonna. I know he has to go, but we'll talk about it later. But in just the opening minutes, that run through by Kobe, Ahmed should have put that away. I don't know. I think his head's down. He's I don't know. His confidence is shot. He's just the drop off is just. It's just
there was a very
standard.
Interesting thing with that in mind. There was a very interesting moment, and you guys probably seen it on social media this morning, where Ahmad had obviously he made the tackle that led to Šeško's goal, and then Casemiro made his way all the way back from the 18-yard box to the halfway line to go and congratulate Ahmad. But at that moment in time, Ahmad was just walking off either to get instructions from Carrick or to go and get some water. But as you just said, Ethan, his shoulders were slumped. His body language looked really bad. And I think he looked rattled after he missed that chance. Fantastic run from Kobbie Mainoo to set him up in early doors. But I think after that, he looked distraught, and he's obviously someone that's going through a bad run of form at the moment. I think what I'll say is, I'll give you the stats, him and Brian Mbeumo, and we'll go on to talk about each of them individually in a second. But some of the stats here again, Ahmad, 2 goals, 2 assists all season. His last contribution for Manchester United was on December 16th in the 4-4 draw against Bournemouth. And Mbeumo, obviously slightly better, 10 goals, 3 assists. But his last contribution was like 24th of February, an assist against Everton. Those 2 boys haven't been playing great, but out of the 2 of them, the one that I'm worried about most, and we'll talk about the positives in a second, but the one that I'm worried about most is Ahmad. Did you notice anything different in his game last night, Paul?
Other than him playing on the wrong side of the pitch, which makes a big difference, doesn't it? He's obviously been chosen as the one to be shunned onto the left-hand side. He's not comfortable over there, is he? But his form, like I've said a few times, since the African nations, it's been terrible, to be fair. Nothing short of terrible. He should have scored twice, shouldn't he, in the first half? But it's we need a left winger, don't we? And you can't just put these people who are right wingers on left wing and expect them to do the same job. You can't. He's not comfortable, low on confidence. Strange one.
Very strange one. We obviously have to say a special mention to Casemiro, as I know we talked about him just there, but that's 9 goals this season that he scored for Manchester United. He's become an absolute menace in the 18-yard box. And Harry Maguire was actually quoted as saying, he's obviously used to attacking the ball in the box at both ends of the pitch. And he came out and said after the game that he's never seen anything quite like Casemiro in the way that he's able to get up. It's just, if you watch his goal back again, just leaves the defender flat-footed. And it's not an interference with him. He's not pressing on his shoulders as you see quite a lot. He's just coming in and getting great contact with the ball. I thought it was a brilliant goal. But I think he adds more than just that goal threat to the team. And I think it came last night again. You could see the way he was directing traffic around him. That's not something that's going to be easy to replace, is it, Ethan?
It's not going to be easy to replace. It's really not going to be easy to replace. Even as well, some of the tackles, he's putting in a shift also. And, sometimes you see him dropping back. I think there were times when Haven went forward with the ball and you just see Casemiro step back and just holding the line. He's a threat backwards and a threat forwards. We've got a corner, you just know, Maguire or Casemiro. And I think that's just something that I don't know how we're going to be able to replace that, but, he's just out of the season. He's just been very good. Yeah.
I think it was a Freudian slip when you said he's a threat going backwards, because I do think he's always going to get a yellow card when he's trying to run back. Like when he has to do any running and interfering. Yeah. But no, I see what you mean. In both boxes, he's great at kind of clearing it, and he's great at attacking it to score as well. We'll obviously get onto Cropper's transfer corner later, where I'm sure there's some candidates to fill in the spot that's going to be vacated by Casemiro. I thought it was a really nice touch. The fans love him. I don't think he has ever in his career had this much love from a set of football fans, and it really shows the way he was in tears, waving to the Stretford end, literally in tears as they was chanting his name. I think his wife and his kids were celebrating with the fans in the stands as well. There was video of that doing the rounds. Manchester United did like a nice little presentation for his kid's birthday as well. They gave him a birthday cake and lots of other stuff. They're being treated like royalty, and it's fantastic to see, because he is a great player. And I know everyone's had their doubts about Casemiro over time, but this season he's played fantastically, and I think you can't really discredit him for that. One of the reasons why he is ticking is, because of Bruno Fernandes. He keeps managing to find his big hamster cheek face with the ball every single time. One step closer to the promised land of tying that record, Paul. Is he going to break it, the assist record?
You can't see him not doing now, can you? He won't. You just touch wood. He never gets injured, does he, Bruno? You imagine he just gets injured last couple of games. But no, I can't. He's he's even more looking for it now, the assist, and shooting into. He's trying to, no, I'm going to set a goal up. I'm going to set a goal up. And he's got it into, I thought he might have done it last night, to be honest with you, with the way we started the game. But I thought Brentford took over. Yeah, Bruno, brilliant again. There is a question in the mailbag later that'll be interesting about Bruno. So it's we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
we'll wait till we get to that one then. One thing I did want to ask you, Paul, I'll stick with you as well. When he had the option to pass to Sesko or Mbeumo, and it comes down to what you was just saying then about being out of form since AFCON. Did it look like, because Mbeumo was in acres of space, and it was Sesko that had lots to do, but in that moment, it really felt like we saw Bruno deciding, I know who's going to put this away, no problem at all. Would you say that was true, or do you think that's just me just fabricating it for a bit of a clip?
Yeah, maybe. Jamie Carrick did a decent breakdown of it last night where he waits Bruno and he paused it just at the right moment for which defender comes to the ball first, and Bruno fakes the pass, and then as soon as the one defender commits, he gives it to the free player. So the best number 10 in the world at the minute, isn't he, Bruno? And it's those decisions that only certain players can make, and they make the right decision, and that's why he's got so many assists. Brilliant player.
Yeah,
not a brilliant performance for me though. I know you said it's last night.
I think that's true. I think that's true of a lot of the players as well, because I wanted to talk about the fact that I wanted to ask you. I'll start with you, Ethan. Michael Carrick made a big decision at halftime, and he took off Ahmad, and he brought on Nus Mazraoui. Now that game was very, very open for that first 45 minutes. It could have been any score either way. Did you feel like Carrick stepped up in that moment, or do you think it was just too obvious to ignore? Do you think he made himself a Manchester United manager, so to speak, or do you think it was just too obvious that that someone was getting at them every single time and there was pockets of space that he did have to revert back to the Ruben Amorim system?
I mean, he did go back to, I think it was more for 5-3-2, but it was a bit of both where, we're a bit open, and also, it's too obvious to ignore. Ahmed's not comfortable. So I think bringing in Mazraoui brought a bit of, the second half, we were just being attack after attack. Obviously, we have moments, but, it was just too obvious to ignore, that it was just an end-to-end game, and we needed a bit more stability in the back as well. Yeah. So
what did you think about it, Paul? Was you thinking that was necessary, or do you think it was knee-jerky?
It was brave. Whatever it was brave to go back to Amorim's system, wasn't it? I was very critical of him the other week when it was at Leeds we played, when he didn't change anything at half-time, didn't I? So I can't now say, oh, well, he changed it when it wasn't working, and he shouldn't have done that. So because that would just be a silly thing to say. So he had to do something. I thought Dalot really struggled against Lewis Potter, didn't he? I thought he was running rings around him. So Dalot he struggled in the game again, Dalot, didn't he? Typical Dalot performance. But to bring Mazraoui on was more like, right, mate, we can see you need a bit of help. Mazraoui, can you get in there behind him and help him out? And it did, but to do that when you're United manager at home, to go, we're 2-0 up, right, we're happy with that now, we'll sit back and we'll play on the counter. There's only certain managers who can get away with doing that. First, you can't do that all season, can you?
Exactly, but at this time of the season, when you just need certain amount of points to get Champions League qualification, because we're not going to win the league, like that's not possible. It's just securing that position now. So I think he deserves a bit more credit for looking at it and going, do you know what? 2-0, we've got 2 goals. Let's just defend this. We can hit him on the break. We've still got the pace going forward. I think he deserves a bit more credit for actually coming up with that. Go on, Paul.
I'd be interested to know who came up with the idea, whether it was Steve Holland or it was Carrick himself, to say, we need to change something. Right, okay, we'll go back to the... Can you imagine that, right? We'll go back to Amorim's system. What? Hang on, at half time, you're doing that in the change rooms to these set of players, and they'd be like, look, you just get rid of that guy, he's changing it back. I don't know. It's... we're stumbling over the line, aren't we? We're not playing very well. We're not in good form. We've not played very well for the past 3 or 4 games, and we're just getting there. But the game against Chelsea was a massive result, like we said last week, and then to keep it, not to keep a clean sheet, to only concede the one last night when we could have conceded 4 or 5 was very good. And I think the keeper needs a massive shout out for the way he's played for the past few weeks. For me, I know Bruno's having this brilliant season. Lamans for me is my player of the season at the minute. I think he's been outstanding.
Lamans has been fantastic. The save that he pulled off, where it looked like it was a certain goal. At first, you kind of like, oh, he's spooned it wide. Was it
Coyote.
Was it Thiago? No, was it
Coyote?
Yeah. So and you thought like, oh, he's blasted it wide. But then on the replay, it's like I was looking at the TV because I was watching it in the bar. I was looking at the TV going, does he give a corner? How does he give a corner there? And then it shows the replay, and it's just instincts, obviously, from Lamans. Superb save. Really good reflexes to keep that out. And there was a few that he got across to. I still think, and I know this sounds harsh, but you've talked about this before, Paul. Moving his feet a bit quicker, he probably would have got to the goal as well. I think. I think sometimes he starts, his body's already shifted to one side, and he finds it difficult to get back across goal. It's one thing I think he needs to be a bit more agile. But I can't really argue with your choice for early player of the season, because he's come in and he's settled things down, and that more than anything, that's a huge benefit, isn't it, Ethan, for United? It's better than better than having Onana and Bayindir grasping the hair.
Yeah, Onana and Bayindir. It's just a relief. When you used to have corners, you have to wonder. But San Lamans, I think there was a moment in the game where I think a cross came in, and he was being pressured, and he instead of trying to catch the ball, he realized, I'm not going to get this. Just punched it out. And it's just that that safety at the back. You get what I'm saying? And just the calmness as well. I think they were like even to finish off the game, with that header that came in at the end. I think Otara's header, and he just just getting it, ending the game, calm and collected. And I think that's just a difference that you have, where the defense is now more comfortable to, no one's panicking like, oh, he's going to get the ball. He's always just going to have the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, he needs to be a bit more quicker with his feet. Yeah. Because some of the
yeah, sorry, go on. You were saying.
No, so I was just saying, like, some of the free kicks that he lets in it's just a matter of I think his weight is on one foot and he's trying to lean to the other side, so it just ends up being a step too late in getting to the ball. Yeah,
it's a fraction every single time. It's like it's not massively caught out of position. It's just a fraction. I'm focusing on the negatives here. I shouldn't be. The fact that Senna Lamans has come in, who wasn't rated really at the start of the season. He wasn't on anyone's radar at the start of the season in the summer transfer window. And then it was, we're going to get Emi Martinez, or we're going to get an experienced goalkeeper after Onana and Bayindir, the terrible duo that we've had. And Lamans has just come in and just been like a breath of fresh air. And it's something that the players are clearly building from. They don't have to threat anymore. And Maguire came out after the game and he said, look, the 50-50s, I'm paraphrasing here, 50-50s that we used to have under Ruben Amorim, we would always lose them and we'd concede from them. But now we believe that we can score at their end and we can defend at our end. So we're not losing those 50-50s anymore. And I think largely that's down to Senna Lamans. It's down to being able to go, right, that lad behind me, he's not just going to let it slip under him, or he's not going to punch fresh air. He's actually going to come through, clean out the players in front of him and get the ball out. So I don't have to worry. And then the defenders can just do their jobs. Speaking of which, another special mention for Aiden Heaven again, because some of the tackles that he put in, that one when Thiago's through on goal, and the save from Lamans as well. Because he's directed it back at goal, let's be honest. He's almost scoring a fantastic goal there. But to get back and to stop that from Thiago from scoring, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really good. Inexperience again at the back from Heaven, but looking good, mate.
He loves the dirty side, Heaven, doesn't he, of defending. And that's what you want to see from a young defender. He likes I don't know who it was, but there was a 50-50 ball, and you could see, I'm going through everything here, and he took everything out, and you're like, go on, lad, brilliant. That's what I want to see from a defender. I want to see brave, and I want to see the fact that they love defending, and they'll scrap to try and keep a clean sheet. And that's what I think Aiden Hebbert, which I don't think Lenny Yoro does. I think he likes the calmness and give me the ball kind of, and you need that difference in as well. Aiden Evan, once again, brilliant. Like you said earlier, Ethan, I thought Kobe Mainoo was superb. He turned into like Prime Gaza, didn't he? When he danced through the the way he did it, Ahmad should have scored, but I thought we missed Kobe Mainoo when he's not in that team. I thought it was outstanding. Also, a little shout out for Sesko. I thought Sesko's first half was the best I've seen him. I thought it was brilliant. The way he ran, the way he closed down, being that big and sprinting like that. He's only probably got about 8 sprints in him a game, because you can see after an hour, he's absolutely shattered. But I thought that was his most promising game. I thought, well, half, I'll say. I thought it was good.
Well, that's 10 goals for Sesko now. On his United debut, which at first I was like, oh, that's really good. You know, that's a fantastic return. I know a lot of the time he's been on the bench, he's been injured as well. And then I did a little bit of digging to see where he compares to other strikers that Manchester United have had or signed. So barring the ones that they've signed mid-season, he's like, there's only 2 players that have scored less than him in their debut season for Manchester United. Can you name them? 2 strikers. They're both South American. I'll give you a clue.
Forlan?
Yeah, he scored 7.
Chicharito?
No, he was way up there. Chicharito. He scored a fair few. The other one is Radamel Falcao on 4. But those are the only 2 strikers that Manchester United have signed in the Premier League era that have scored less goals than Sesko, which is, I mean, most of his goals have come under Michael Carrick, so make of that what you will. Make of that what you will.
That's with Bruno behind him creating every single goal in the world, and he's still only got that many. Yeah, it's a struggle, isn't it? A little shout out for I thought player that they were a great team, by the way, because I've just not touched on. They played some brilliant football last night, and
they're good.
When I was watching it, I was like, these are a really good team. I tried watching a Serie A game the other night. It was AC Milan can't remember who it was. Brentford would have walked that league. They're not that much of a good team. I say that league's atrocious. They're a really good team, and for us to beat them, because a draw was probably would have been a fair result. I think. I think they deserve something from the game. Coyote is outstanding. That lad didn't stop all game, and he felt like he was everywhere. He'd be on. I would have put him on my transfer list. If you can get hold of that lad, he'd offer you so much more that Dallo can't. But I thought Brentford played some really good football. A good win in the end for United.
So within the noise of who's going to be playing the Casemiro role for next season, we've had Elliot Anderson, we've had Ederson from Atalanta, we've had Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace, and a new name entered the mix last week, which seemed to be hotly tipped as well, because it wasn't just ITK accounts like Fabrizio Romano, it was the press coming out, like The Athletic, and saying that, I think it's called Aurlien. Is it Aurlien? I'm going to butcher that.
Aurlien.
Tchouameni, yeah. The Real Madrid midfielder is the name that has now been linked with Manchester United in what they believe is going to be around a £70 million deal for the Frenchman, which has kind of come out of left field. I've got my own opinions on it, and I've got an idea of how these dominoes will fall. But first and foremost, Ethan, I've not watched much of him at all. So I'm being brutally honest there. I've not watched much of him at all. Watched his highlight reels this morning, obviously. Is he the man for Manchester United? Do you know much about him?
Absolutely. I mean, this season has been one of his best seasons. But he's such a what can I say? He's such a rock in the midfield defensively. I'm not too sure much of him going forward in terms of if he's going to be a Casemiro replacement. But in terms of holding down the midfield, he's such a rock. I would say completely a wall right there. Nothing goes through. He's had off seasons, but I think this season in particular, he's been very, very good. Yeah.
I think one of the things, Paul, with Tchouameni is that Casemiro was proven, as Ethan just kind of hinted towards, that Casemiro's proven to be a danger from set pieces as well. Tchouameni does not chip in with goals whatsoever, really. He's more of a player that tidies up in midfield, very metronomic, very, dare I say, Carrick-like in the way that he distributes the ball, gets in there, gets a foot in there, rarely dives into tackles from what I've seen. The stats kind of back that up as well in terms of his interceptions. He's more of a thinking man that, that knows positionally where he needs to be. But does Casemiro scoring all these goals make it a kind of a different target that we need in the summer? Or does Tchouameni fit that idea for you?
It's different players. You're never going to... I mean, we've been looking for the next Roy Keane for how long? 30 years. You can't go like for like and replace someone with... There's never the same sort of player. So you have to go for something that's better in that system that you're going to play. Tchouameni. I'm obviously going to say it wrong.
Let's just do whatever we think it is, and then we'll decide.
And we'll go with that. Yeah, exactly.
We'll do it next season.
If we sign it. If we sign
exactly.
it. He's a screen, is what he is. He'll protect, and that's what we need, because last night we didn't have that at all. Casemiro's legs can't do it. I know he scores the goals. I know he makes good interceptions. That's just because he's positionally wise. He's good. He's very, very good. Well, he's world class at position wise, but his legs can't get him to do what he wants to do. What this lad will do is he's got the legs, he's got the physicality. He's 6'2". He loves to tackle. He loves to defend, but he protects. He's not one of these to go marauding forward. He just sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, go on, Manny. You can go and do that. Bruno, go on. I'll do this. I got you covered." If the fullback's struggling like Dalot was last night, he will just automatically come over and help him. That's the type of player he is. He's probably exactly what we need. We're just not seeing him in this league. I know we were linked with him 4 years ago before he went. Is it 3-4 years he's been at Madrid?
It was actually Ralph Rangnick that recommended him.
That's right.
Which is insane. That just seems crazy that even back then. Was he at Bordeaux at the time, I think?
Possibly. I was just looking at that. Do you know what the funny thing is? Ralph Rangnick recommended all these players. If you've seen, all of them are all like superstars now, aren't they? Which is frustrating. It's almost like he knew what he was doing, that man, isn't it? But going back to Tchouameni, I think it will be 60 million. I know what you're going to say with your theory, Nathan, and I don't think you're far wrong with how the dominoes will fall with United. I think that's where this name's come from, because Real Madrid will be looking at him and going, if we're getting this man here that's coming in, we need to get rid of one. And I think it's Camavinga and Tchouameni have been linked with moves away now, aren't they? Like you say, no smoke without fire. I'm all in on it. I am. I agree with it, but I do think we would need another one still.
Ethan, you was about to say something before I jump into my theory.
Another thing is just when Casemiro was at Real Madrid, we never really, unless you're probably like a Real Madrid ultra, you never really knew that he had these passes and these headers and these goals in his bag. It's only when he doesn't have the Kroos and the Modric with him doing all that for him that you're seeing, wow, he can actually lace a pass. He can actually get in the box and score. So maybe it could be like that for Tchouameni, where if he's given the opportunity where he has to do it, he might have it in the bag. Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true.
Well, looking at his stats, he's got 1 goal in 4 seasons, so he's not a goal scorer, is it? Like I said, he is just a screen. Put him there, and that's what you need from a 6.
While I'm reading out what my theory is, or telling you what it is, you do the research on what Casemiro's goals were before he came to Manchester United in that final season. Because if he was only on 1 goal, then we're in a promising way with Tchouameni, aren't we? If he pops in, plays with the handbrake off. Anyway, so basically, I think the reason why Tchouameni, and I still don't believe he was on any lists whatsoever, and I've spoken to someone who definitely knows more than I do about this, who kind of recommended or kind of suggested that it might have been a smokescreen, the Tchouameni thing, while they're working on other targets in the background because they don't want to get caught with their pants down. But I think the way that it's going to play out is Man City's Rodri is going to go to Real Madrid. he's already suggested that he could not resist going to one of the biggest clubs in the world. In an interview held at the start of this year, I think it was, January, Feb, during one of the international breaks. So I think Rodri's probably going to leave Man City. He's going to go to Real Madrid. I then think Man City are going to blow United out of the water and get Elliot Anderson. He's the number one target for Manchester United right now. But Man City have got the money to do it. And Nottingham Forest won close to 120 million for him. United don't have that money. I've written all about this in the Fergie Scum newsletter that you can get from fergiescumpodcast.com. They simply don't have the money to do that. They need to be very clever in the way that they move the money around. And like you said, Paul, it would be Tchouameni and one more, not just him on his own for that midfield slot. So you can't go spending 120 million on one player. And then obviously surplus to requirements. Tchouameni's the man that misses out. I know you mentioned Camavinga, is France international teammate and Real Madrid teammate. He won't go because he's more versatile than Tchouameni. Camavinga can play left wing. He can play left wing back. He can do all of those positions. Tchouameni is the one that if you're bringing Rodri in, that position has to be given up, and they're not just going to try and keep him on the bench. And that's why I think ultimately, if those dominoes do fall in that direction, then yes, I can see Manchester United going for Tchouameni. But I still think it represents a risk, Paul. I still think getting him in from the Spanish league still represents a risk.
What's the risk? We've not seen him. This kid has been touted as one of the best midfielders since you're 18, hasn't he? And so let's be, he's not going to be, is he? Just whether he can deal with the physical demands of the Premier League. But I don't think it's much of a risk as what you're thinking. What I've put on here is United, maybe me, is guilty of not being ambitious enough. I'm looking at players like Gomez. I'm looking at players like Fernandes from West Ham.
João Gomez, yeah?
João Gomez, sorry. Yeah, João Gomez.
Yeah.
These are players that are on the verge of being, well, one's getting relegated, the other one's getting relegated. So maybe United are looking at it and going, why are we looking at these bottom of the Premier League?
Forest are completely out of it, yeah? Elliot Anderson, Nottingham Forest.
Well, this is another thing. Maybe they're going, why are we looking at these players near the bottom of the Premier? Why don't we go and get one of the best midfielders in Europe? So maybe us as fans aren't being ambitious enough and say, wow, okay, if United owners think, or whoever's in charge of transfers think, we can go and get one of the best midfielders in Europe, not just one that's at the bottom of the Premier League. Let's go and do that instead. You've got to admire the ambition if that's what they're thinking of going and doing, because I didn't think that type of transfer was possible. Same as when we got Varane, same as when we got Casemiro. You go, wow, all right, yeah, fair enough. So maybe that's the direction they're looking at, going getting one of, if not the best centre midfielders in Spain.
But the thing is, right, that it is a big shout. And one thing that I will say to that is that none of us on this podcast right now were even considering Tchouameni to be one of the best in the world for coming in and playing for Manchester United. Whenever we've talked about this, like we can't rewrite history. Whenever we've been talking about this, because the podcasts are out there, people can listen back. He's never a name that we mentioned. Adam Wharton, Carlos Baliba, Elliot Anderson, and then you're going down to the João Gomez, the Ederson at Atalanta, Matheus Fernandes, who's only just who's only just popped up recently.
Yeah.
So it's I find it strange that I would take him. Let's put it that way: 70 million, and then you can spend 50 million on Alex Scott or someone like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would take him, but I think there's a bit of revisionism going on here of, we didn't want him anyway. Elliot Anderson's the top target for a reason. He's brilliant. He's really good, and he's come on even better. And he's added goals to his game as well, Elliot Anderson. That's another big thing.
I think the thing with Tchouameni is I'm only thinking
he's got a different pronunciation every single time he says it. There's a new one.
Yeah, I'll get one of them right. Is I don't think I thought he was gettable. I don't think it was one of them. I don't think it was one of them where I thought, oh, Real Madrid will sell him. No, so I just ignore it. I mean, I'm not going to put on my list, oh, we'll go and get Vitinha. I'm not going to put on there, you know what I mean? I'm not going to put it on there because we're just not going to get him. So I think the thing with Tchouameni is I didn't think it was a possible. It was a possible transfer. So you have to say, I mean, how many times has he played for France? I was just trying to Google it. And how many French?
A few. More than 5.
You don't get to play for France in the centre midfield position unless you are top draw, and he is top draw. Let's see whether United can get it over the line though.
Yeah. Did Johan Gorkov used to play for France in centre midfield?
What a shout that is!
Yeah.
Where have you just pulled that from? That was brilliant.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of average players that have played for France before.
Johan Gorkov. That's a blast from the past, that, isn't it?
That's the one I'm bringing out.
That's the one I'm bringing out. I think,
But you know,
I think I did. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the signing of Tchouameni, and it's like he can't be worse than Ugarte. It's
a low bar. That's a low bar. I'm backing all three of us to be slightly better than Manuel Ugarte.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll take him in a cut price deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, get him in. Like you're saying, I think we're thinking too. As United, I was saying to a couple of my mates, and I was saying, Ruben Amorim took us to a level where we expect less. As United fans, we expect less. So now it's shocking that we're like, oh, we could get this, but we're United. Why can't we get him? And like you're saying, go and get like an Alex Scott, maybe a Tonali, I don't know, but someone prem proven as well.
That's what I think that's going to be the key. I think that's going to be the key. Yeah. I think if you go and get Tchouameni, I think you have to get someone that's got Premier League experience, and I think that's when you start thinking about Joao Gomez. Although it looks like he's set to go to Atletico Madrid, do you even need another player that does that role? Is Carlos Baleba gettable for 50 million now because he's had an absolute shocker of a season? He played well against Chelsea in their win recently, but he started. What was the stat that we said? Was it he's not played 90? He's played twice 90 minutes all season. Not a great sign, that.
See, that represents more of a risk to me than going and getting Tchouameni from Real Madrid. That's more of a risk. So if it's an option between Baleba and him, I don't even think it's a choice, is it? You go and get the man from Real Madrid, French international, and you stick him alongside Kobbie Mainoo. And you've got your midfield sorted for the next 5-6 years.
Do you think, I'll just ask you both separately, do you think it'll happen? Do you think Tchouameni will be at Manchester United next season? Paul? Oh?
No.
Ethan?
No. I'm with Paul on this. No, I don't think he'll be at United.
Well, who is going to be at Manchester United next season? I guess we'll wait until Cropper's transfer corner to discuss that bit.
Yeah.
We'll do that shortly.
Unfortunately, no, because I think it'd be a great signing. Right, overrated, underrated. Okay, I wasn't sure which direction to go. I knew Ethan was coming out. I didn't want to pull out some random Karol Poborski one, so I've tried to keep it to a player that everyone's going to know. 233 appearances for United, 39 goals, 51 assists. He's a man that split a lot of people, and even my mates still argue this point whether he's overrated or underrated, which is why I brought him in. We just spoke about one French international. This is another one.
I think I know who he is. Is it Paul Pogba?
It's Paul Pogba. Okay. Overrated, underrated.
Ethan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? What would you say?
I mean, I'm literally still downloading it right now.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Throw that one in there.
Overrated. I'll go out on a limb right now and say Paul Pogba was overrated at Manchester United. I think he he could have offered more, I think. I don't think he contributed to Manchester United in a way that you could go, oh, we really miss him. I don't think that was the case. I think when the other things that I kind of add to it, I think ultimately Paul Pogba is probably a decent guy, right? I think he's probably like a decent person who was maybe advised wrong on a couple of occasions at Manchester United. I don't think he was full of ego. I think he was just advised wrong and maybe had small bone up his backside a bit too much, which kind of inflated him a little bit as to where he was in his career and what he should be given and what he shouldn't get. But when you think back to the game against City, when he had an outstanding game, but he also put a blue streak in his hair, sky blue streak, when there was rumours that he was going to go to Manchester City or that they were going to bid for him. I think stuff like that for me is a sure sign that someone is completely overrated, because they started to believe their own hype. They started to think, well, I can go and get that move here and they can do this and they can do that. And the way that he left the club in the first place, he talked about it recently, didn't he, on that Rio Presents episode? He said something about he was on the bench. He was on the bench and someone came on ahead of him. Was it Rafael or Fabio? Yeah. Came on ahead of him in midfield and he didn't get a game, and he knew at that moment he had to leave, which I get. But then you have to think about the fact, why? Why is that? People were trying to keep you grounded, trying to keep you level-headed, and you didn't want that for whatever reason. So I think there's fans that are still talking about him now. Someone posted something. He drove me up the wall the other day, but I guess that's the whole point of it. Someone posted something saying they showed a clip of Kobbie Mainoo doing something, and they made up a narrative for themselves. All these people comparing Kobbie Mainoo to Paul Pogba. Pogba was on another level, and then they show this clip of like Pogba doing like tricks and scoring at like Juventus and all this lot. Like, no one said that. Not one Manchester United fan has even compared Pogba to Kobbie Mainoo. No one's done that. You've done that to get someone to click on it, and now I'm angry on a podcast talking about it. But I'm not going to give you the clicks because I'm not going to link to it. But for me, and I know this is I'm monologuing now, but for me, overrated. And I think fans kind of just remember the potential rather than what they saw on the pitch over and over again. He could have been amazing, and he did have outstanding moments, but I think average at best in his Manchester United career.
You're completely right. He was overrated. Like as you're saying, as you said the name, I'm just thinking of, the moments. I'm thinking of France as well. But if we just look at the facts, how he came in, record signing, he was Ballon d'Or level signing, talking about that. He wasn't consistent in games. He complained a lot, and, even, on that podcast that he had with Bruno Fernandes, where he was complaining, saying, at United, I was played at this position, just everything with Paul Pogba wasn't his fault. Couple that with some of the injuries, he was never really like a Bruno, where you can count on him for a full season. Bruno getting an injury is an outlier compared to, him not getting injuries, So I think, he was brought in to be, like the main man in midfield, and, he never was. Obviously he had moments where you could tell that, this guy, he's talented. Some of the passes, his ability to just hold on to the ball, create space, but he never did that enough for us to be like, yeah, he's, this is Paul Pogba, which is kind of annoying because, he did that for France, but he didn't do it for United. So I think for me, that's where it comes down to him being overrated at United. Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. And I think it's about when we talk about overrated and underrated from Manchester United perspective, we do it from the fans' perspective and what we see on the pitch. That, like I said before, there are still Man United fans now that are still pining for, Paul Pogba would be transformative in this United team. I just don't see it for many of the reasons that Ethan's just mentioned. I just think he was all about him. And for that's why I think he was overrated. Paul, have you got an opposing opinion? Do you think he might have been underrated at all?
No. I think he was overrated. I do. I think what you said earlier was bang on. I think Paul Pogba looked after himself and cared more about himself than what he did the club that he played for. Unfortunately, you obviously don't know these footballers, but he comes across as quite an innocent man. But I don't see him as a man. I see him as still being, well, not now, when he was playing, more of a teenager, just a playful teenager, just playing around. And it felt like he didn't lock in and get his head down, because that man had everything to, like Ethan just said then, to go and win, to go and be the best midfielder in the world, to Ballon d'Or. He had the talent, he had the physical stature, he had the pace, the strength, he had everything you'd want of a midfielder to go on and say, I'm going to be the best in the world. Won the World Cup, him and Kante. That partnership was unbelievable, wasn't it? But he was then given the freedom to go, Paul, you go and do whatever you want to go and do. And at Manchester United, he never had that luxury. Jose Mourinho was sick of him not doing. Do as you're told. Just do as you're told. Do as you're told. Do as you're told. Do as you're told. And this is why I'm saying it reminded me more of a teenager, where you shout, I've got a teenager. You do as you're told. Just do as you're told, and then everything will be fine. No, I know what I'm doing best. I'm brilliant. I'll do this and I'll do. And unfortunately, that's the way he came across. And you can't have that at football teams, because then everybody thinks they can just go and do what they want. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jose Mourinho was just trying to get rid of him. And then when these little arguments happen, nobody's going to win. People start banging heads. But unfortunately, I think I said the same thing as with Nani. He had the talent, Paul Pogba, to go and be anything he wanted to be. Never quite locked in. Never quite had the, I don't want to be harsh, the humility to say, I'm gonna proper graft here now. Just everything was a bit playful for him, wasn't it? And never really took it seriously, from what I can see.
I think his attraction was to American sports. Do you know what I mean? Like the way that they, like a Michael Jordan,
LeBron James,
like that type of the off-field, off-court stuff. That's what he was attracted to. Brand Pogba, they were all doing it at the time as well. You know, Jay Lings and all that lot, trying to start their own brands as they were doing it. I think they were all advised incorrectly at the time, because both of those players could have still been at United if they knuckled down and just got on with things. But just as a little anecdote to what we're talking about in terms of Pogba, I was out here one time and I was out in Dubai. They were staying. The Manchester United team were out doing warm weather training, and they were staying at the one and only resort, I think. Anyway, we was there having a couple of drinks, playing pool. Luke Shaw, Phil Jones, Ashley Young, and a couple of other lads came down. They were just playing pool. Oh, can we go on next? Putting like, you know, money on the table, like to go on next. Chatting with people, getting their pictures taken with people. They're in their kit and everything. You've seen the picture. I got a picture of me and Shaw, me and Ashley Young. And they were having a, you know, just chatting to people, chatting to fans, and parents have brought their kids there, like to, like, oh, can you get a picture taken with him? Anyway, I was leaving, and we'd said like goodbye to them, wish them all the best for the rest of the season, and there's a bit of a commotion going on. There's all these people like running around. Oh, Paul! You see Pogba walking towards him. He's a big lad, by the way. He's bloody massive, really imposing figure, and he was the only one that had a security detail with him, and they were pushing kids out of the way and people out of the way as they're walking down what is essentially private property, yes, but you're inside a hotel. Like you can stand where you want, but these like two heavies were like pushing people out of the way, like move, let Paul through, and he's just like coming through, just like as if he, you know, the bee's knees. So ever since then, and as I said before, he's probably grown up and matured a little bit now. I don't want to have a go at his character or his personality, but back then, overrated, mate.
Cropper's transfer corner. There's a bit of a build-up to that there, wasn't there?
There was a bit of a build-up. What's this? I hadn't paid for that jingle.
No, you know, extra. All right, theme tune. Let's sing the theme tune. I
stuff,
I
mate.
was trying to find my notes actually. What I was doing, that was my brain thinking. It's a bit like Family Guy up here, mate. Honestly, the amount of things that's going on while I'm
Right.
like a
Fair enough.
brass band just going on while you're thinking. Yeah.
I'm
Anyway,
fairly certain that was a Simpsons reference, not Family Guy, but I'll let you off.
well,
Homer.
there's even more going. Possibly, yeah. We've done Tchouamenis. We've done all of them, haven't we? Same player, so we won't go into that one again. Do you know what? This one really got me excited because I think I spoke about him before. I know I put him in the chat. I think he's brilliant. Rafael Leao at AC Milan. We're crying out for a left winger, as shown last night when Ahmad cannot play there, unfortunately, and also Mbumo can't play there, and Cunha does moments like you've mentioned before in that position. Rafael Leao has been AC Milan's best player for a good 4 or 5 years. AC Milan want 50 million. The link with Manchester United could heat up in the months ahead. It says here, Manchester United have been gathering detailed information on Rafael Leao through the player's entourage. 50 million euros for a man of that talent is a bargain. And I know we were linked with Semenyo before he went to City. I think he's that standard, me and Ethan. I think he's Champions League standard, scores goals, powerhouse, absolute powerhouse, Portuguese international. That is a better signing than someone like Anthony Gordon, someone like that. He's just a better player, in my opinion. I don't think he's had the best of seasons, and there's a reason why AC Milan are maybe looking at cashing in now, because I think they could have got close to 100 million before he signed his new contract a couple of years ago. So thoughts?
I mean, for 50 million euros, that's what, about 41 million quid?
Yeah, 40,
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can turn it down. 26, proven. Although I think he'd bed in okay because he'd have Bruno there. I think it'd be easier for him to get into the rhythm of things, and Dalot as well. Obviously, they played together for Portugal. He's not sure about that one, but Dalot is there, and he's a good person to have around the changing rooms. Apparently, I don't know. I mean, for that price, if you're serious about fixing the left wing, for that price, you can do worse. I would say. I think Anthony Gordon, and hopefully he's not on your list, and I'm not jumping ahead here. Anthony Gordon was linked this morning with a move to Chelsea. Apparently, he's had enough at Newcastle. Chelsea want him 80 million. They're talking though. Manchester United are not spending 80 million on Anthony Gordon. Feels like every week we talk about him. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's great, and I think he'd work really well as a Manchester United winger. But for 80 million, you can't. So Rafael Leao for around 40 million quid, yeah, sure, why not? 40 million quid, 26. Even if he doesn't work out in the first season, probably recoup 40 million back to Serie A next season. So I would go for that, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we need on that left hand side. I keep saying it, and we lack physicality and power in that attacking front line, even with Sesko, like I said last week. And I think he adds that in abundance. Yeah, brilliant player. Get him in. Next one is, there were two players, and I know there's a picture of me doing the rounds in our chat of a certain man in a Spurs shirt. Nathan keeps popping it every time I mention his name, but I've mentioned him a few times, and it's come out that United are looking at him now. Obviously, you weren't the biggest fan of him, were you? And he's not going through the best of times at the minute, but Mickey van der Ven has been heavily linked with a move to Manchester United in the summer. The price I've seen here is £60 million. And it looks like he will want a move. Is that? I know he's been linked with Liverpool before. I think he first come across my radar when, well, it wasn't first, but the first time I went, whoa, was at Old Trafford, when he just waltzed through everybody and just sprinted past everyone, and you went, who's that lad there? And then I've kept my eye on him, and he seems to have, we're dispersing, because he's captain. Is he captain, or Romero captain?
Yeah.
Is he captain? Is he vice captain?
Yeah.
And it seems to have been, he's had a slump of forms with all these managerial changes. I think under Ange, he was seen quite comfortable, and then all these changes seem to have just, and it's either he's thrown his toys in and gone, I'm leaving here anyway, or he's just going through some sort of confidence issue. But physically, he's outstanding. Left-footed centre-half, which is what I think we do need, and we're going to struggle. I think he slots in. I've said it over and over again. I think he'd be brilliant for Manchester United. I do.
He was definitely scouted a couple of weeks back when they played Brighton, I think. Was it Brighton? Brighton versus Spurs. When was that? Was that in the last couple of weeks? I forget. Anyway, because I know him and a strange name for you. No, it wasn't Belieber. It was Van Hecker. It was also
Right, Van Hecker.
That was also that was also because I thought Van Hecker. I thought he was like 29, 30 or something. He's not. He's like 24, 25. Like Mickey van der Ven, I think he's a very good defender. We absolutely need to sort that left-sided centre-back role out. Like, I know Aidan Heaven's playing there now, but we can't rely on Martinez and his knees or his temperament. Oh, God. I just remembered that Dominic Calvert-Lewin pulled Cucurella's hair the other day and didn't get sent off for it.
Yeah.
I
wonder what went through your head then.
Yeah, I don't want to bring that rage back again, but yeah, just baited by PGMOL because there's no consistency over hair pulls. Van der Ven, I think he'd obviously do a job. United are also looking at Murillo as well, Nottingham Forest.
And Senesi, apparently, weren't we? Which is
yeah. Well, Senesi, the domino effect was Senesi to Spurs. Because they knew that Mickey van der Ven wanted to leave and Christian Romero both want to leave the club. So that they get a move. Senesi's the replacement. And Murillo, again, was being looked at by, I think, Chelsea, United and Arsenal. Why? I don't know why Arsenal would want Murillo. They've already got two of the world's best centre-backs in Gabriel and William Saliba. And Hincapié, does he play centre-back as well?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Gabriel's also been linked with a move to Madrid, so...
Yeah, I don't know. Out of the two, anyway. Mickey van der Ven or Murillo, who would you have? Murillo's at 23.
I like Van der Ven, I just think you could also play him as a left-back, and I think he'd be brilliant there. Big powerhouse, pace, yeah. I think he gives you the options. And 60 million, don't think that's terrible. I think he'd want a lot of wage. I do.
Would it be even less if they got relegated, as it seems they might do?
Yeah, you give him 30 quid then, wouldn't you? Say we'll take his wages on because you're skint. I think Liverpool will want him, Van der Ven as well, though. I think they'll want him to replace Van Dijk. Tough one. Another one, which interesting enough, when I was looking at the Van der Ven, the comments underneath, everyone was asking for this player. Go and get him as well. And I was thinking, I like him at Spurs. I know you're not very like the Spurs players, but it was also the week after. I don't know if people put two and two together, but then the press started coming out. United are looking at this right back. And I watched him at weekend. Seen him every time I've seen him. I thought he's a City player. Him all over. Pedro Porro, right back.
He's got the Sergio Reguilon vibes about him. I just can't. I cannot accept. I cannot accept him as a Manchester United right back. It's just for me. That's that you're barely getting an upgrade on Diogo Dalot for that.
Wow. Big shout, Nathan. Big shout. I don't like him. I like him. Like him as a football player. I think he gets stuck in. Defensively switches off though, which I understand. Going forward, attacking.
I don't want that. I don't want that from my right back.
You've already got that. You've already got that for your right back.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
But it was it was funny. All the comments underneath were Van der Ven and Porro. And then it started coming out in the gossip columns. United have been looking at Porro. Well, they've just, like I said, they put it two and two together.
You understand these rumor columns end up coming from chats on like comments under articles, don't you? They make it up. It's like a never ending. It's a never ending churn. They post one story, someone underneath says buy this player instead. All right, there we go. There's tomorrow's rumor. Right, United are linked with Pedro Porro. And he just keeps going. No, don't get Porro. Get this guy.
That they're not well thought out and researched like Cropper's transfer corner. Is that what you're telling me? I do all this research all week.
I'm saying they're on a par, mate. That's what I'm saying.
And these lads are just winging it and getting paid for it. Oh, I tell you. We mentioned midfielders earlier that we're looking at going to. João Gomez, I think we talked about, who's Atletico Madrid are just sniffing around all of our centre midfield targets, aren't they? Which they love a centre midfielder. I'm sure they've got 15 centre midfielders in that team. Like, Simeone just plays them anywhere. It's just, you're a centre midfielder. And then we have one striker. But the latest one that they're looking at is a target we've really highly fancied, isn't it? Atlanta's Ederson. And they're keeping a tight. United are also still looking at the situation, and 45 million euros. Atletico have agreed personal terms with the player, but the club are yet to reach an agreement. So United are still in for Ederson, but it looks if he's agreed terms with Atletico, they'll want.
I don't know because, well, Marcus Rashford has allegedly agreed terms with Barcelona, but they still don't look like they're going to sign him. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can say agreed terms with anyone you want. I'm sure Manchester United would have no problem sorting the salary out for any player on the planet right now. So you could say, in that context, has agreed terms, because you'll just give in to whatever they want in that way. Ederson, again, he's a risky one, but I think he's very good. I think he's a very good player. I think he offers something different. United seem to want a Brazilian in midfield again, by the way. I think that's they want the South American flair in there, not an Ugarte, because obviously he's rubbish.
They get on well with the Portuguese lads, don't they? Same language. They do get on well, and they've got same temperaments, haven't they, of scrappy and football. They just love football, don't they, South Americans and the Portuguese? So, yeah.
And I think that's what they want in the middle of the park, especially with the links with João Gomez and the links with Ederson as well. There's another Brazilian that was linked to United the other day. His name popped up, and I can't remember where it is now. I was hoping it was going to be in Cropper's transfer corner, but it might not be. But there was another Brazilian that was linked. Anyway, doesn't matter. But I think Ederson would do a job? I don't think he would be the first choice I would get in there. I think you go all out to get Tchouameni or Elliot Anderson. But let's be honest, the Anderson thing still isn't dead. It's just unlikely. It's not like we're definitely not going to get Elliot Anderson. It's just, what's the likelihood of it? If City come in and they go, we're going to give you 120 million and United can't afford it, we're cooks. Yeah. But if they start negotiating at a certain price, then we'll be okay.
João Gomez and Ederson, for me, will be if we can't get Alex Scott.
Yeah, I think that's
what happened.
I think Fernandes is probably on that list as well. Matheus Fernandes.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and
he'll be on there as well.
That's not a bad list for your second choices, Nathan. I'm happy with that. I don't know if you saw him at weekend, Nathan. This lad, and I saw it a few times, his name, and I thought, no, I'll go on out. Don't really keep in touch with the Dutch league, because I don't think it's very good, very competitive. I'll be honest with you, I'm very wary of players coming from there. Obviously, like we mentioned before, they've all struggled. But this lad, his highlights, they all look great on YouTube, but his feet are immense. And he scored a wonder goal at a weekend. And ever since then, everyone's gone, United want him because they need a left winger. Mika Guts, apparently is how you say it. The solo specialist turning heads at Ajax. 20-year-old Belgium, I believe he is. Ajax winger scored a sensational goal in a 2-0 win. His 16th league goal of an outstanding campaign. Premier League clubs, including Manchester United, are reportedly interested, and after making his senior Belgium debut earlier this year, the hype is real, apparently. Mika Guts. I watched him today, and like I said, his feet are outstanding. He's like a lot of these kids where you see them nowadays, and they're immense. The technical ability they've got with both feet to go either way. His step over, it's nothing like Phil Neville's, if you know what I mean. It's a proper step over, and he can go either way, scores goals, can finish, 20-year-old. There's no fee involved in what the rumours that I've seen, but you're probably looking 30-40 million. Whether United are going to do that on another kid, I'm not sure. But go and check him out, Mika Guts. Talented kid.
I've heard of that link before. I just didn't know his name. I knew there was a kid at Ajax that they'd been linked to. Just didn't know who it was. I think United will be cautious about taking any players from the Dutch league, especially from Ajax, because again, they've been awful. Donny van de Beek, Anthony, Andre Onana. I know he went via Inter Milan, but you know, these players that have come into Manchester United and been dreadful. Again, they're going to put Erik ten Hag in prison for signing most of these players because he was on the take, allegedly, through his agency while he was signing these players. 90 million for Anthony. Come on, unreal. I don't know. I don't think United will go for a risk like that. I think what they would do is they would try to sign a Keith Smith for the right price and then integrate him as a long-term successor in midfield. I don't think if you're picking up someone from the Dutch league now, they're not going to be starters for Manchester United next season. They would have to be absolutely sensational to go and slot straight into a Manchester United side next season. So yeah, I'm not seeing that one.
The chap from Leipzig. That's the only player we go. Sorry, I completely forgot his name. That's the only person United will go and break the bank for from abroad, I believe.
Not from. No, I mean they'll take a risk. German league, I fancy, is slightly more different. I don't think the Eredivisie specifically, they're not going to take a risk on that.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah.
Any more names? Any more names on there?
No, that's it. No, there's not many outsiders. So no, I've kept it short and sweet this week.
Do we think that Marcus Rashford is going to go to Barcelona?
Yes, I think they'll get it done, and I think they'll just get it done at a cut price deal. Yeah, I think it'll happen.
Let's open it up. Get the Gummers mailbag open. What have we got in there, Paul?
It's Kevin, long-time Gummer. He's put 12 months ago, fans, including myself, were saying it was time for Bruno to move on. Cash in for 100 million plus. Would we take 100 million for him this summer? And who do you replace him with?
I think it's all dependent on who the manager is, right? So if Manchester United can get Luis Enrique, for example, and he comes in with his idea of how he wants to play, and he goes, I'm going to need workhorses across the midfield, and I don't have the luxury for a number 10 that can free roam. Then that will decide it. And if Saudi comes in and says, we'll give you 100 million for him, then they'll take it. They'll snap their hand off for it. I think you'll still get 100 million for him. Now, I think Saudis will still offer 100 million for him because he's had a fantastic season. Do I think we should sell him? No. I want to see Bruno back in the Champions League with Manchester United. That's what I want to see. I think it'd be very tempting, but Manchester United should have contingency plans for if he does leave, and they should be working with Jason Wilcox or Omar Barada must know what type of structure they want to play next season and what that type of person is that's going to bring him in. Under Michael Carrick, he's been fantastic. Even under Ruben Amorim, he's been brilliant as well. But it all depends on who comes in as manager. And a lot of these players that we talked about in Cropper's Transfer Corner, we just don't know if they're going to fit with the manager that's coming in because we don't know who the manager is that's coming in.
What about you? Saying keep?
I'm saying keep him, yeah. What are you saying? Get rid?
No, I don't want to say get rid. I've said it. I think I said it last time we spoke about Bruno. It should be up to Bruno. Bruno, do what you want. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to go, quite happily, there you go. We'll take the money. I think Bruno in this team leaves Sesko isolated too much. If he's asked to play as a 10, I think he needs to stay closer to. And last night he was doing it. He was coming deeper than Casemiro, coming deeper than Menu, and it leaves Sesko on his own. And he just stay within 10 yards of Sesko and cause havoc there. But I think with Casemiro's legs, he's unable to do that. He feels like he has to come deep and fill in that gap in the midfield. So I think when we do replace and we get more midfielders, I think you might see Bruno be even better going forward because he'll just be able to stay up front. He'll have the trust in his players to cover them positions and be able to just stay up there, mate. Stay up there next to Sesko. I think you'll see Sesko scoring more goals and Bruno probably getting more assists. I wouldn't sell him. No, I don't think there's a better number 10, like I said earlier, in world football at the minute than Bruno Fernandes. If he plays as the 10, just stay there. Who do you go and replace him with? You're looking at a Gibbs White. Is he better than Bruno? No, he's not, is he? and they would cost you the same amount of money. So whatever money you get for Bruno Fernandes, you would then have to go and spend it all on somebody else who's not as good. All right, they might be younger. All right, they might be able to run quicker, but are they going to give you what Bruno Fernandes has done for the past 18 months, 4 years, however long he's been there now? Because he's consistent. And another thing with Bruno Fernandes, I know everybody says it, he's always there, and he plays every single game, every single minute. That's worth a lot, because a lot of the other players don't, do they? So yeah, no, I'd keep him. I wouldn't sell him now. Let him go when he wants to go. I would love Bruno Fernandes to win a proper trophy with Manchester United and then call it time and move on.
Premier League next season.
Imagine it. Imagine it. It'd be lovely.
That would be fantastic. The one of the questions that I've got here came direct to WhatsApp, but if you do want to leave us a question, because we always forget this part on the Gunners Mailbag, you can leave it at the comments. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can leave it in the comments and we'll drag it out of there. Or you can, I'm not going to give out my personal WhatsApp number or Paul's, but you can leave a comment under our Instagram accounts as well, or TikTok, and we'll get it into the show. This one's from Linz, and he said, it's something me and you were talking about the other day, actually. We definitely put it in the group. There was a report this week about Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada leading the process to find a new manager. I thought it was a bit strange because just the week before, there was reports that they hadn't started talking to any other managers. Do you think this is true, that they are leading the process? Or are they just going to give it to Carrick at the end of the season?
You talk to United fans, and I think 8 out of 10 now are just saying give it to Carrick. I think that is where everybody's heads are at. Just give it to Carrick. Let's keep ticking over. Let's keep progressing. And let's keep moving on forward. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, we don't know, do we? But we do know that if you bring in someone that's unproven and it all goes wrong, what a stupid decision that was. If you keep Carrick and then we consistently get better and build, it was a great decision. But then if it drops off, you still go, right, we can go and get another manager now. We tried it with Carrick, we can let him go. So I think they'll give Carrick an 18-month contract and then see where it goes from there.
See, I was on the radio last night for Monday Night Football on Dubai Eye, and the guest that was on, Chris Brown, he's in and around football a lot. He organises like tours out here for like professional clubs, and I think he was on the books at Luton and Crewe Alexandra as well. So he knows his bits, but he's like, just give it to Carrick. If it doesn't work out, you can always get rid of him after 6 months. And I was like that's probably what they're thinking, because if they give him a contract that's like 18 months, as you say, it doesn't pose any risk really, because they'll keep it low. This is different to going and getting Nagelsmann, to go and getting Tuchel, to go and getting Luis Enrique. This is, you've got someone there, he's not currently in a job, so you don't have to pay any fee to get him into the club. Probably have to pay a little bit of money for like signing on fee, whatever it is. And then you'll have to give him a salary, which is, what he deserves. And it won't be at that level that those other three coaches that I just talked about now. And then when you put the clause in his contract to say that he's on his bike, there won't be these like 10 million payouts that you're giving to Ruben Amorim. It'll be something far more manageable. So I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they've talked to any other manager. And when you look at like Carlo Ancelotti, you look at Nagelsmann again, Luis Enrique is probably going to sign. But those two other ones, they're at the World Cup. And pre-season starts literally before the semi-finals, is it? Or the final of the World Cup? That's not enough time.
Sometimes in football, you need all your eggs to line. What's the word? You need everything to line up.
Eggs in a row. Yeah.
Eggs in a row. Is that the one? Yeah. Yeah. It didn't sound right. Yeah. Eggs or ducks? Do ducks have eggs? What? None of it lines up to say that man makes sense. Put him in, does it? The Tuchel one doesn't make sense because of the time. The timelines just don't add up. What does add up is stick with Carrick for now, and then in 18 months you can see, right, okay, we're challenging for leagues, we're challenging for the Champions League, we've got a decent squad, right, give Carrick a 4-year contract. if it's not going so good, because there will be, every single one of these managers at United has had a clause in it. If you don't make Champions League, we can sack you for 25% of whatever it is. Because as soon as we don't make it mathematically, they're gone, aren't they? Whether you've won a league, whether you won a cup or not, you're out, as Van Gaal got told. In 18 months' time, there will be more managers on the market that these owners might be thinking, oh yeah, we could have them. So it just makes sense. It makes complete sense. And when things line up like that, you go, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. And I don't see it appeases the fans as well, doesn't it? Sticking with Michael Carrick, because I know a lot of people that we want one of us. We want United, an ex-United player, and it seems to please everybody. Just sticking with where we're going. I'm still unsure. Them two performances that they still did niggle me.
Exactly. I think fans aren't that enamoured by Michael Carrick. I think they're enjoying the ride right now, but I think if they really sat down and thought about Carrick next season, and I'll ask you this question, can you see Michael Carrick lifting the Premier League trophy as Manchester United manager?
No, I cannot. No, I'm being honest.
Then what's the point then? All you're doing is you're going to slow things down in terms of progress. If next season, like we're third now, right? Manchester United will want to challenge for the Premier League next season. Whether that seems far-fetched or not, they will want to challenge for the Premier League next season. And they'll want a challenge for a cup as well. They're not going to accept another season where it's just qualification for the Champions League is enough. They want to win a competition. And in Michael Carrick, is that the person that's going to do it? Or do you go all out, as they did before, get a character, get Luis Enrique, pull him away from PSG with the promise of funds and to build a team in exactly how he wants it? Or do you stick with Carrick for 18 months and potentially go backwards?
A counter to that would be, what more could Michael Carrick have done? I think if you look at the form, and since he's come in, we're top of the table, aren't we? He's got more points than anybody else since he's come in. So his counsel would be, what more do you want, lads? I'm showing you that I can do it. And if he had come in beginning of the season or of 3 or 4 months earlier, maybe we would be challenging for the title now. So that is a counter you have to think about, where he couldn't have done much more. He could have got some better performances out of it, because I keep saying the Leeds performances stick. Like I said, we are stumbling across the line, we're getting it, but we're over the line nearly. So I keep putting these criticism to him, and he could easily just come in, bat it away. You're talking absolute nonsense. I'm doing my best here with what I've got. And that's a fair argument, in it, because that squad, as we all know, is not good enough to be third in the Premier League. So he is getting a lot more out of them than what's there, really, innit?
Yeah. I think the killer line in all of this is that you don't and I don't think that he could win the Premier League title with Manchester United. And that's going to be the kicker, surely. And that's what Ineos and, everyone connected to the club must be considering as well. But I do feel like he's the safer option and the least expensive option as well. Do you have any more questions in the Gummers mailbag, or is that it?
Nope, that's it from me, young sir.
All done. Well, that's it. Epic. Do you know what we never addressed? The fact that Ethan hasn't been on the last 2 sections.
yeah. Ethan waved him with bye. I was like,
He did. He left at the end of the Paul Pogba overrated, underrated segment because he had to get back to work. So if you was wondering why Ethan has not been called upon to give his opinion in either Cropper's Transfer Corner or the Gummers mailbag, it's because he has not been here, not just because we turned his mic off.
Good to
have Ethan back. It was.
Good chat.
Right. Okay. That's the end of the podcast. Who've we got next? Who's up next for Manchester United?
Who is up next? Oh,
yeah. Yes. Who is it? I don't know. Team from... There's a team on Merseyside, isn't there? That's coming.
The old bin dippers, isn't it? Old bin dippers.
Them. Liverpool, apparently. Yeah. Whoever they are. It could be decided whether or not Manchester United are in the Champions League. Could also be decided whether Bruno Fernandes breaks the record for most assists or ties it against Liverpool at Anfield. I would quite like it if he broke the record with assists, and I'd quite like it if we guaranteed Champions League qualification with a nice big fat win over Liverpool. So we will speak to you again after the Liverpool game, when I expect we will be talking about a 4-0 loss.